The mind. The mind is one of the most complex things to exist on Earth. It's also one of the most powerful things on Earth. That's where the saying mind over matter comes from. You can literally think things into existence. And let's not forget, your perception is your reality. Your mindset matters. You're smart, you're motivated. You want to do something big. You're on the verge of being a young boss, and we're gonna help you get there. I'm your host, Isabel Guarino. Welcome to the Young Boss Podcast, where youth is your power. When it comes to having a good mindset with personal development and achieving success, I really think that your control of your mind is everything. If you cannot force yourself to do things on the days that you really don't want to, you're not going to achieve your goals. You're not going to achieve success, because most of the time when you don't want to do something, it's the day that you actually need to get up and just make it happen. When you're a young boss and you control your business, you control everything that's happening on a day-to-day basis. If you don't get up, you don't make money. You don't eat. Your business eventually fails. You literally cannot be lazy. And all the successful young bosses I know, lazy is not a word in their dictionary. You know, in business for me, I really struggled after I lost my father. You know, he was a big part of my day-to-day in business, and it was one of those moments in life where I didn't want to get up out of bed. I didn't want to go to work and do all of these things that I had done side by side with him. Maybe you've had something in business where you're going through a personal depression or postpartum depression, or God knows what it is, but something where you're just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. But it's really just about relying on your habits, relying on those things that you just have to do so you can get out of that funk and get back on the bandwagon. You know, sometimes the things that you don't want to do are the things you need to do most. And when you start doing them, you start to realize it's actually not that bad. I can get through this and I can do it. And showing up on those days is what matters at the end of it all. So really, when you hit that funk, it's okay. You're allowed to have a bad day. I'm not saying that you're not. You know, I had to take my time for grieving. I had to take my time for, relaxation and just sitting back and just saying like, oh my gosh, a tragedy just happened to me. But I also had to realize that this isn't going away. This is my new life. So what am I going to do to carry everything forward? If I don't continue going on, everything fails. I need to go get a new job because I'm shutting down this business and I'm letting go of 50 employees and disappointing all of our clients. Or I can change my mindset and cultivate a positive mindset, change the negative thought patterns and say, how can I turn this into something positive? How can I turn this into a great way, a creative way to moving into the future and loving what I do? What do I love about my job? And how can I rely on those things in this low moment right now? Your mind is like a computer that you can reprogram by asking better questions. Start listening to your self-talk and identify negative thoughts and beliefs that hold you back. And if you can't hear your own voice, ask those around you to hear your voice and maybe your thoughts, because a lot of things that we say, right, it's coming from our mindset. It's coming from what's in our mind. So when we look in the mirror and we're like, I'm so ugly, that's what your mind thinks. That's why you're saying it. Your mindset is a lagging indicator of your beliefs. Whatever you believe comes into your mind and then out of your mouth. Be conscious of what you feed your mind. If all you watch is the news and you're all consumed with strife and violence and stress, that is what you'll inevitably become. What do they say? You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, you're also the average of all the content, information, and media you consume too. You are what you eat, and your mindset will begin to reflect that. So make sure that you're putting good things into your body and your mind. If you believe that you're dumb and you tell yourself that you're dumb, it's likely that when someone gives you a compliment and tells you, that you're amazing and you're smart and you're intelligent, you're going to have a hard time receiving it because you don't believe it to be true. It's all in your head. If you don't believe you're worthy of a high ticket sale or a new job or the beautiful person that just asked you out, you won't be able to sell it. You won't be able to get the job. And that person that you're attracted to won't go out with you. Your mindset will become reality one way or or another. It's true. Whatever you choose to believe will become who you are. It will become what you experience and how you treat and interact with people and how people treat and interact with you. The power of your mind is fascinating and powerful, but use it to your advantage. I know so many talented people, and if they could just get out of their heads, they'd have a beautiful life ahead. So what is personal development? To me, it's the process of becoming the person you want to be, identifying the habits and traits of successful people and developing those habits and traits. If you have someone you look up to, what habits and traits do they have that you want to start? I think that it's really important to help set your goals and identify those habits so that you can start making your life come in alignment with them. If you want to have a hot girl summer, right, and be the it girl, does the it girl sleep until 9 a.m. and drink frappuccinos and stay up all night partying? Probably not. You need to set your goals in the way that you want them to become, but you also need to just live that lifestyle. So if you want to be that it girl, you want to be that hot girl, stop sleeping until 9 a.m. Get up at 5 or 6, stop drinking the Frappuccino, right? Get down to eating your green juice or whatever it is. Like, start doing the things that a hot girl does. Someone once told me this. They said, how do they live the life that they want? They pretend that their life is a movie, right? And we've all heard this phrase, like, do it for the plot. I think that's so funny. Do it for the plot. What if your life was a movie? What would the main character who is playing you, what choice would they make? Would they wake up early and get that workout in? Would they stay at work late and finish the project? Would they go out on that date? Would they talk to the girl or guy in the corner that they think's really cute? Probably. So go do those things. What's the worst that happens? Someone tells you no, right? Someone says, not today. Okay, you're going to be fine. But it's all about, moving forward in that and making sure that your mindset is okay with the decision no matter what way it ends up. When I look for a new salesperson on my team, I'm always looking for someone who's willing to be told no a million times. When we're interviewing our sales team, I do want to see, does this guy have a girlfriend? Does this girl have a boyfriend, right? And if they do, is it someone they've been dating from high school, or is it someone really attractive? And do they have a lot of hot girlfriends or hot boyfriends? To me, that's saying maybe they're good at sales. They're good at walking up to those people to say hey, do you want to go out tonight? They're not afraid of it. It can be scary to be rejected, whether it's in business when you're trying to ask for money, maybe it's, with a partner that you're trying to attract attention from, or it could be something totally else, and it can be scary to be rejected, but it's all in your mind. What is the worst thing that happens? Literally. You really have to think about, who do you want to become? And then you have to make the choices to become that person and hold yourself accountable. If you're trying to be a business owner, you need to start thinking about the habits of a business owner. You need to start thinking about the way they talk, the way they behave, the way they spend their money, right? Are they reckless? Are they watching trash TV all day? Or do they listen to educational podcasts and books, attend industry networking events, wake up early and get shit done? You get it. You have to choose what you want and work towards becoming that person until you are that person, until you see the work paying off, until the things you want become a reality. These days, it's easy for people to think that success just falls in the laps of some people. And for some people, it does. But the majority of successful people are putting in the work that 99% of others just aren't. And that's just the reality of how it is. No one is magically perfect from day one. Literally no one, okay? It's the habits that got them there. It's the mindset of believing that they can, that they're worthy, that they are that person, that they can create the business, the company, the client base, the income. You have to believe it. Are you ready to unlock your full potential and achieve your career goals? Subscribe to the Young Boss Podcast for weekly inspiration and practical advice. Keep listening for more tips and tricks. Now, back to listening. I love the spectators versus players analogy. If you want to change the game, you have to play. You don't make a difference sitting on the bench, not doing anything, screaming at the people out on the field. Being passive, sitting, waiting, wishing for something to happen for you doesn't change the results of your pursuits, and it definitely isn't going to change your life. I absolutely love this quote. I forgot who told it to me, and if it was you, let me know in the comments, but it made so much sense to me. Nobody in the bleachers impacts the game. So get your ass up and do something about it, or honestly, shut up. Seems pretty harsh, but let's be real. Everybody has that somebody in their lives who says they're going to do this or do that. And you know how the story goes. This and that never ends up done. They still show up late to functions, get too drunk, say things they didn't mean, and then rinse and repeat. And that's how it is for some again and again. You can't change the game without getting your hands dirty, without boxing out, without playing defense and offense. Success is not for passive individuals. I also love this story of how Sal DiCiccio, former Phoenix City Councilman, began his career in politics. I asked him, why is he doing this? And when he thought about his impact on the community and how his choices and actions or lack thereof affected the lives of those closest to his heart, his precious daughters, he told me when I asked him, why are you in politics? He said, I would not be able to forgive myself if my daughters looked at me one day and said, Dad, you knew all this corruption was going on and you didn't do anything about it. That changed his life. He had to do something about it. He had to play in the game because that was the only way to make an impact. Sal didn't sit on the bleachers. However, with knowledge and power comes responsibility. Shout out to our guy, Uncle Ben. R.I.P. He's a real one. We all know. It doesn't matter what choice you make. If it's the right choice, you'll keep going. And if it feels wrong, you're going to correct, you're going to pivot, you're going to make changes. Your future self will know. It can be hard to pivot and move forward, but when your heart and your mind are aligned, it's much easier to make decisions. It's no secret that successful people make decisions quickly. Not rashly, but quickly, because of the alignment of their head and their heart. All possibilities exist at all times, but you only experience what you tune into, what you let in. Could that person who sped by you be headed to the hospital to have a baby? Yeah. Or could they be an asshole who hates you and is trying to make your day worse? Yeah. Everything exists. It's what you believe and experience and what you give your attention to. If you're naturally a negative person, you're going to automatically assume the worst case scenario. So where is your mind? Locate it and try making some positive associations. I promise your day and your life will improve. When pain shows up, it shows up with a message. When we think about how to deal with pain properly, the reality is you have to stop everything and step into it, lean in, go full on. Your body knows a lot more sometimes than your mind knows, and having those two in alignment really can help. I remember before I was filing for divorce, my whole body was breaking out in hives. And I was like, what is going on? Why is my body freaking out? I had to lean in. I had to see what was going on. That sick to your stomach feeling about a coworker, a boss, a client, lean into it. It's real. Being intuitive and being in alignment with your heart, body, mind, soul, all of those things help you be a better boss. Your mindset controls everything. Your body tells you the story. And when everything's in alignment, it's easy to move forward. When it comes to managing your energy and how it relates to personal development and success, it's really, really important that you protect your mind and your energy. It's kind of like in the NBA, load management, right? When LeBron needs a break and they give him that week-long break for load management, that's exactly what you need to do for yourself. As a young boss, you have to protect yourself because if you're at the top, there's no one above to protect you. So sometimes you need to recognize and avoid situations that are going to really drain you. Maybe it's energy suckers. Maybe it's, a heavy workload one week. Whatever it is, you've got to be aware of what's going on and then manage yourself really appropriately. You can't be end all be all to everyone and everything. Becoming a positive force that attracts people to you is always going to be one difficult thing because the more the people want to be around you, the more people want to work with you. You're going to have all these clients who really want you and need you. But sometimes time suckers are really difficult to deal with and you have to protect yourself. I know sometimes for me, when I'm at our events, it's like when I hit 3 hours of hanging out and networking, I'm like, I've got to go back to my room and decompress and hide away in a dark, cold, quiet space for a minute. I know that I need that because if I have to show up the next day and the next day and the next day and do that, then I need that self-time. I need to be able to shut down. So if you're around someone who's maybe an energy sucker, try to avoid shutting that person down right away, validate their feelings, redirect the conversation, but also be mindful of how long you can be around them. Now, we can't always always avoid everyone. If you're not a young boss and your boss is that energy sucker, that time sucker, you've got to work on controlling your reactions, but always be consistent with your boundaries. Hold yourself accountable and take care of yourself. But I also want to say this. Are you a battery or a vacuum? You know, at some point you may realize that you are the person who's taking the energy out of the room. You may realize that you're the person who everybody kind of tries to carefully avoid. Be careful because you don't want to be known as that person. When you're around an energy sucker, they will take everything from you and not give any boost into the future, no help with your mission. They're not going to help you do anything. So limit your reactions and time with them. Love them from a distance, okay? And if you're that energy sucker, fix it. What's going on? Don't be that person. No one likes that person. Become the person that everyone wants to be around. You don't have to be everyone's best friend, but you want to be someone who understands, inspires, and encourages people to be their best version. This is how you change yourself from a vacuum to a battery. Be conscious of what energy you give off and what your beliefs and your mindset are. If you're someone who tends to speak negatively, be mindful of that and try to change it because you don't want to be that person who starts to get a bad reputation as a vacuum. Turn into the battery, be positive, and start to work on what comes out of your mouth. And it all starts with what you put into your mind. When we think about mindset, it's all about having a positive one at the end of the day. Don't be fake with it. You have to be real. If you're not in a good place right now, try your best to get yourself there. Remind yourself of the things that once made you happy, the things that once brought joy to you about what you do and what you're doing right now. But get into that place with your head and your heart that they're in alignment. You're going to be able to make decisions faster and easier and stay on track. Make sure that you're being a battery for those people around you, always bringing encouragement and positivity. Make sure you're filling your mind with positive, good thoughts. We don't want to go down this negative thing of saying, oh my gosh, what if AI takes over? What if so-and-so gets elected? What if? Okay, we can live in what if land all day, but it doesn't get us any further. 90% of what we worry about never even happens. So quit worrying about it. It's okay to think about those things, predict the future, be prepared for them. But if you spend all of your time there, you're not going to be making any progress and you're not going to be the best young boss that you can be. Remember, if something's on your heart to do something for the future, for the people who are coming after you, then do it. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Young Boss Podcast with me, Isabel Guarino. Be sure to like, share, and follow on Instagram and TikTok. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a comment. Is mindset something you struggle with as a young boss? I'd love to talk about it with you and maybe hopefully give you some tips that you can use in your business today. Remember, youth is your power.